By the way, if you see a little advertisement at the beginning, in the middle, or at the end of the video, please do not skip it. By doing that, you're helping me a lot. Come on, guys, it's just a few seconds of your life, and it will really make a difference for me. I'm counting on all of you. Enjoy the interview. So, the past 2 days, we got this blabbermouth headline saying that you actually already left Soulfly. So I think this is maybe like the first interview that someone got the chance to ask you directly. What happened then? You quit the band? Are you going to continue maybe later? What happened?
Man, it's this very difficult year. I got no support from Soulfly. There was no sort of loans that were taken out for the bakers or the crew. This is just the honest thing of what happened. I had to go back and get a day job. I was doing home renovations, working very hard, 10 hours a day. A live record came out in New York City. I never saw a dime off that. So basically within the 6 months, 7 months of COVID, I just said, man, I don't want to do this anymore, dude. I gave you guys 18 years of my life, and it was a great time back in the good years. It was great. But the last, I'd say 8 to 10 years have not been very good for me. Away from my family, scheduling is crazy, and it was impossible to have a personal life, see my family, make plans with my family. So basically like 6 months into COVID, it was just like, I don't even want to do this anymore, man. I'd rather just concentrate on my solo project and spend time with my family where I'm happy, where I get my credit for everything I do. I put 18 years in. That's a long, long time to be in the band, So, when COVID hit, it was like, felt like I didn't, what have I been doing these last 18 years? Normally you work a day job, you get support during a pandemic like COVID, and I was working very hard. I was doing plumbing, electric, and finally my very good friend, Nick Bell at God Size Booking, he was like, listen, dude, I could get you back on the road to the states in America that are open. So he got me to Montana, Texas, Florida, doing my solo project. And I was able to quit my job and get back on track playing music for a living and making money. And a big props to Nick Bell, because he was one of the few people that supported me during the pandemic and helped me to get back on the road. I got no support whatsoever from anyone else. So it's a good thing. Again, I'm very excited about the future.
Did you expect all that negativity from some fans on social media? Took you by surprise, maybe, or you were expecting that?
I was expecting that, of course, because obviously your singer leaves the band, right? And of course, no one ever likes to take responsibility of why they're out of the band. They always like to blame other people, and of course, I got blamed, of course. And so, yeah, I expected to take all the backlash that was, a lot of people had answers. A lot of people had questions, and they wanted to know what happened, why it happened. And I was there to let them know, as well as I could, explain what happened. You know what I mean? Some parts are unexplainable because I just don't know. You know what I mean? So, but I am very vocal on social media. I'm very active. And so I try to answer everybody's questions and also prepare them for change. There's going to be change. Some people don't like change. Yeah. I get it. Some people don't like their favorite bands to break up. Some people think that their favorite bands are all brothers, right?
No.
But it doesn't work out that way. It's all relationships. Everything is relationships, right? Some relationships last, some relationships don't. Some people lose friends. It just happens. You know what I mean? And that's in my situation. You don't stop doing what you're doing because you lose a friend. You don't stop being who you are or what you're doing. For instance, I'm not going to stop doing Fear Factory because somebody decided to quit the band. No way. No way should I. And all the people who try to tell me to change the name or to quit or to move on, all I can say is fuck No.
That's okay. Plus, all the bands on the world move forward without the original singer, without the original drummer or guitar player or whatever.
All the time.
Yeah, all the time. Actually, there's very difficult to find a bunch of bands that continue all their career with all the original members, right? Right. That's very rare. Not even Metallica.
It's not even Metallica, not even, well, Metallica, yeah. But that's, yeah, they kicked Dave Mustaine out, you know, one of the guys died, you know, things change, things happen, and you just have to roll with it. Some people say, well, some of the members are, I've heard a lot of people say some of the members are, you know, you could change some of the members, but you can't change some of the core members. That's what I've heard a lot of times. But no, that's not true. There are core members who, there's core solo members who keep going. You know what I mean, with the band.
Totally.
So, and you know what? That's okay. People
That's
can
life.
say what they want. Yeah, people can say what they want to say. Doubters can doubt me. You know, it doesn't matter because it doesn't matter what they say. It doesn't matter how much they cry. Pinchi chillons. I'm gonna be fucking able. I'm gonna move on. I'm gonna move on.
So, Prika, there are a lot of Nervosa fans still asking about the split with Fernanda, you know, the former singer. Can you give us your side about the story? Because I mean, the only explanation for this episode was like, I left Nervosa because personal issues. And you said Nervosa will never die. We will continue, and you get a great lineup right now. So what was the real deal with the split? Because it looks like it was very amicable, you know, in a friendship environment.
Yes, because you know we were been working together since the last 8 years. But the truth is, since at the beginning, we didn't agree too much about many things. So in a long terms talking, one day this will not work anymore, you know, because they have a different taste for the music. They want to do the things in a different way. So we don't combine too much, you know. The unique thing that we were really together and was to be in a metal band and, you know, work very hard for this and leave it from the music. All the rest, we didn't agree with almost anything. So this was being very heavy for us along the time, you know, and we worked so hard for so long, you know, time. Example, and 1 year we did 6 tours and with more than almost 200 shows, you know, traveling a lot. We didn't have time to see our family, our friends. We just seeing each other. So this is something that very common, you know. In one day, if you don't agree, and the most part of the thing, this will not work anymore. And there are some important things about friendship as well. We have a friendship in the beginning, but this was lasting for a long time. And then in the final, we were just working like a professional. So they are very professional. Yeah. We, you know, I have nothing against them.
Since we're talking mainly members changes in the band, have you ever thought of a possible future for Cannibal Corpse without you or Alex Webster?
You know, it's tough. I know it is a weird thing to think, you know. I don't know what could happen or what would happen, right? You know, I mean, Alex and I obviously been in the band since the beginning, and you know, it's tough. Exactly. Like I know I do think like, man, how long do I have? How long can I keep this up? You know, I'm not getting any younger, and you know, but at the same time, right? Are we a band like, you know, like something like where Kiss can do that? You know, where they got makeup and they can change musicians like that and still have somebody play the part, where that could work if you don't have a Paul Stanley or a Gene Simmons, probably,
Actually, Paul Stanley already said that Kiss will continue without him and Jim.
Right, and it makes sense. That could happen. I can see that working, as weird as it would be, but I don't know. I mean, can Cannibal Corpse still be, I guess it could still be successful, I mean, we've changed other members where you would think maybe that would be detrimental, and it isn't. So I don't know. I mean, it's just a matter of, would we want that to happen? Like, exactly. I don't know. It's a tough question to answer, because, right. If hypothetically, if I was to quit, or say, I said hypothetically, well, I'd say I quit, I'm done. I don't want to do it anymore. Okay. Now it's going to be up to those guys. Now, do I want the band to go on? I mean, do I feel, well, this is my band and, no, it shouldn't be, it should be done. I'm the drummer, or do I go, man, it's not fair to the other guys and the band can still go on and have success. And that's cool too, so it's a tough question to answer, and it's tough to think about, because we're not there yet. But I guess we'll see what happens. I mean, we'll see what happens in the future.
Maybe we'll know in 10 or 15 years from now.
Yeah. Well, you would think, because man, am I going to be able to do this at 60 years old or 65? I mean, that'll be
You're
a little
50
tough.
now, right?
I'm 50. I'll be 53 in 6 months. So it's like, holy crap, they're getting
younger.
old. Yeah. Well, thanks. I appreciate it. I'm starting to feel it a little more. But
great.
But right. In 10 years, I'll be 63, which is crazy. Am I going to be able to keep it up and do what I'm doing right now in 10 years? I don't know.
Especially because your work is really physical, right?
Yeah.
Physical
Yeah,
demanding.
exactly. Yeah, I mean, it's so demanding. I mean, it's tough. I mean, that's why athletes don't, you got to compare it to being like an athlete. And that's why athletes, of course, don't do things like this at 50 years old, 60 years old. They just, it's hard to sustain, hard to keep that up. And, it'll be tough, especially if we want to maintain what we've been doing with the band and the intensity and exactly getting heavier, faster, crazier as we go. I mean,
yeah,
it's
especially with this new album coming.
Exactly, it's not getting any easier, man. I'll tell you.
All right, talking about social media and comments from fans, I got the chance to read some of them. Like 2 years ago or a year and a half ago, when this new age of Static X started, I remember that some fans were kind of upset about the fact that you hire a guy and make him wear a Wayne Static mask and a wig on stage and for the videos as well. Actually, some of them said that that was kind of disrespectful. What do you have to say about that?
Obviously, those people did not know Wayne, because he would have laughed his ass off at the whole thing. He would have thought it was fucking cool. Wayne had the darkest sense of fucking humor, man.
Really?
So he would have thought it was cool, and just as importantly, his family thought it was cool. So
you talked to the family about this, right?
Yeah. Well, yeah. Every step of this process, I've reached out to the family, to Wayne's family, to make sure they were okay with everything that we did. And I got their blessing for everything. So, it's a few people that, they think they knew Wayne because they read a couple of interviews. So they saw a couple of interviews that he did, maybe during the time of his life when he was, not at his best, when, he was struggling with drug addiction. They see him and a couple of interviews and they think they know him, but, they don't know shit,
Yeah, you got to hang out with the guy for like what, 15 years?
Yeah, I lived on a bus with that guy for almost 10 years.
Mm-hmm.
I think I knew him a little better than those people.
Yeah, maybe a little better.
Yeah, just a little bit.
And what can you say about the lyrics on Chemical Whore, your first single?
I think it's a pretty nice way to talk about assholes. I would say it's just my thoughts. I love the song, the fact that all three of us contribute to it. And it's not so many songs we contribute to. Eraser, we did all three, who was in the band at that time, and I think Final Chapter as well. We were three people to contribute on it. So it's not many of those songs that are contributed by all three. And we recorded the video 2019. So now you see it's kind of scary what I was singing about then, having no idea about what's coming around the bend.
Yeah,
but it's
it is
mainly
that-
about the big pharma, how they control us,
Yeah, that's what I thought at first when I first was hearing the lyrics. I was like, okay, you must have wrote this now, like you must have wrote it a month ago or something.
Yeah, no.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah.
So you saw it coming.
I guess I could smell it. No, but I think it was just
cool.
a coincidence, and it has nothing to do with the virus. I see some stupid idiot saying like, is this an anti-vax song? Yeah, duh. No, it's not. It's about
That's what I thought you were
fucking
gonna get.
pharmaceutical fucking pills and shit, dumb fuck.
So do you have any idea how influential that album became decades later for bands like Hatebreed, for example? Meaning
No,
Speak
I-
English or Die, the first SOD album. Sorry.
No, we had no idea. We just thought it was for fun. The really obnoxious, provocative lyrics, you could never have these today. Everybody is much more sensitive now, and we would get canceled or something.
Exactly.
And that's a fucking shame because,
I agree.
those lyrics were not heartfelt. They were just meant to provoke. They were meant to be obnoxious and make somebody maybe go, hey, what the fuck? And you do that now, then, you're a fucking Nazi or something.
Yeah.
Which is ridiculous, so, but of course, to answer your question, we had no idea, except when we started mixing it, I started realizing how good it sounded because I took a break from mixing. You have to clean your ears out sometimes. So during the mixing, I walked into the village of Ithaca there and got a couple of slices of pizza and had a couple of beers and came back like 90 minutes later. And just that much of a little break from it. And I came back and opened the door to the control room and I was like, like your hair flies back, like, holy shit, this sounds good. People are going to like this, man. So we started getting the feeling that it was going to be bigger than we had thought it was at the beginning when it was just fun. It was still fun. It's just all of a sudden it got popular. We were like, okay.
Yeah, because back then you didn't tour much for that album, right?
We did a few shows and then
only.
the band was terminated because other members of Anthrax were starting to get a little envious, to be honest. So
all right.
it was causing problems within, there'd be SOD chants at Anthrax shows and stuff like that. And that was becoming a problem. So Anthrax was the band they had to focus on that was going to, sell more records. So they said, you got to stop this. It's causing problems. So I said, well, all right, whatever. I was busy with Nuclear Assault. So
Yeah, sure.
I had my own shit to do.
Are you gonna play some Il Niño songs on the upcoming tours or nada?
No shows planned.
I don't know. Pierre, should we play some El Nino songs?
All the bands, all the new bands, like for example, Max Cavalera, when he started Soulfly, he kept playing Sepultura songs, right? And a bunch of other examples. They do that all the time. So I think it's kind of like a natural thing to do almost because fans ask for that. So that's why I'm asking to you guys.
I think if it's something that the fans organically bring up, like on the lines at the gate pages, I think if the fans really want that, I don't see why we wouldn't like pick like, two of the best songs that we did and maybe play them. But but I'm still stuck on the idea of being able to play a debut album beginning to end nonstop, because it's just so awesome to be able to do that. I know that with, the band we were in before, that the first album was really special to me at that time. And it was incredibly fun to be able to play the album in full when I began my music career. So to have like almost like a secondary beginning and to be able to play a new debut album beginning to end in full is, and to have it be this good is really exciting, I don't know if we'll have like a ton of time. Like we may go out and have to do tours as a support act, I mean, in being realistic, we might not have an hour and a half set to do the whole album and some other songs. We might just have 30, 45 minutes. And
what about Kitty? It's still on hiatus. I remember by the end of the documentary, you appear playing with Mercedes in in the basement, right?
Yeah.
And you said that you were preparing already the next Kitty album. So is everything on hiatus with Kitty?
As of right now, yes. Since the documentary was filmed and has been released, there's been some changes. We are no longer a signed act. So if we were going to make new music, it would be released independently. But we do still have a number of like legacy type projects that we are going to be releasing and working on for the future. We love to be able to pay tribute to the things that we've done in the past, and I know that a lot of people are just excited for re-releases of old stuff and whatnot. And we're always looking for ways to reintroduce people and whatnot. So we do have a couple of things coming down the pipeline. I can't really give too many details yet, but there will be announcements and it'll be awesome and should be pretty fun. But no new music as of right now.
So when do we get to hear this new announcement?
I'm not quite sure, actually. It's still sort of in the development kind of stages, but it's just like a fun legacy project that I think that certain people and collectors will be stoked about. So
I smell a re-releasing catalog, maybe.
Okay. He's on it.
So I'm glad the band is still alive some way, because as a fan, I thought that the band was already done, but you just don't want to tell anybody. But that's not the case, right?
No, well, I mean, the thing is especially for myself and for Mercedes, like Kitty is a part of our lives, and it never will stop being a part of our lives. Whether that's going into a deal to like do some re-releases, or the Live in London concert that we did, or just like digging through the archives to like give people little snippets of the past. So Kitty's it never will die because it lives within us still. Everything, we're still working on the Kitty legacy, and we still live and breathe that every day.
You were in Hellraiser, so you know what it's like from back in the day.
Yes, I do. And, we made videos through the years. I made a bunch when I was in Anthrax. I worked with a guy when I was in Anthrax named Marco Ciego, who actually ended up going and doing a lot of big stuff. He did the Fueled video that I was in with Anthrax. And
that's
really
awesome.
Cool. That was a cool video.
That's
awesome. He went on to do a lot of like TV. He directed a bunch of Dexters, which is a great TV show. And,
oh, no way. I love that show.
Yeah.
Show's incredible.
Yeah. So
except the last one. I wish they would have kept it going.
Yeah, it was, it was about serial killer. Come on. So it's very metal, right? But yeah, it's it's always cool to work with directors. I mean, God, I worked with Mark Pellington. He did the Black Lodge video when I was in Anthrax, and then he did the Jeremy video that was pretty legendary. So I didn't
know that. It's the same guy who did Jeremy.
Mhm. Same
Yeah.
guy.
Well, it makes sense, I guess, with the wow, it does look a little similar.
It
Yeah.
does, and the irony is that Jenny Garth was in that video. That was before she became anything in Hollywood. You know, and she became a pretty big TV star.
Okay.
Yeah.
Was she in 90210? Is that
She was in what was that? Man, now it escapes me. It was a 90s show.
Melrose Place? Was that?
No, it wasn't Melrose Place. It was a comedy with her and another guy, and there was a comedy.
That shows my age, man, because I was around that time too. I'm 40, so I was I used to watch that stuff when I was a kid. So.
Yeah, well, she's a pretty big actress. I think she's a Scientologist, so she's kind of in that world. But but she was. This was before she was anything, so it's funny to look back on that and go, wow.
Yeah.
You know, so it's.
But yeah, Courtney Cox was in videos as well. Now she's one of the biggest stars ever. It's like
Who is that?
Courtney Cox. She was in.
Oh yeah. Well, of course, she was in Bruce's video.
Bruce, and then the Counting Crows as well.
Right. So it's cool to see. I mean, videos. I have a love and hate relationship with it, to be honest. I mean, because we're musicians, and you're basically you're lip syncing a song, and it's kind of foreign, to do that really, because you're.
Yeah, it's very weird to do it too.
Exactly, but it's just it's part of our business. It's been.
You feel like you're singing in front of a mirror or something. You know what I mean?
Exactly, and you're faking it, but you don't really want to fake it. As a matter of fact, I actually end up having a sore voice a lot of the times after singing on videos, because you can't really hear yourself.
Yeah. You
can't probably experience that.
Yeah.
Rob supposedly he's never heard my era Judas Priest, and it's kind of all right because I've never actually listened to his solo stuff except Fight, so we're kind of even on it. After Fight, I've not really listened to his stuff either, so it's kind of all right.
It's a draw for you guys.
It's a draw.
Well, some other musicians say that. For example, I get the chance to interview Max Cavalera like 2 times in the past. And he said the same thing. I didn't even listen to the Sepultura records with Igor on drums after I left Sepultura, and I was like, wow, really?
Listen, but I have listened to Judas Priest. I loved Firepower. I thought it was fantastic. Yeah. So it's not that I haven't. I just, when I was in Judas Priest, I didn't listen to a lot of stuff, so I really didn't listen to the Halford stuff unless somebody had it on somewhere. I love Rob. Rob is a friend and a mentor and an idol. So Rob Halford, Ronnie James Dio are the 2 guys that really inspired me. So it's nothing against anything really. You just don't sometimes, like Rob just didn't. It's not that I didn't want to. I just never did. You know what I mean? It's kind of like I'm in Judas Priest. There's no need. So, but after I left. I listened to the Judas Priest records. Yeah. Whether I liked them or not, I listened to them.
It's all good. No drama here. A few weeks ago, like maybe 2 weeks ago, or maybe less than that, I saw an article on Blabbermouth, and it says that Rick Hunold, former Exodus guitar player, said that the album, oh my God, I forgot the name of the album again. the re-recording of Bonded by Blood, Let There Be Blood.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
He said that the album Let There Be Blood was, and I'm going to quote, an absolute waste of time.
Yeah.
What do you think of that?
Well, of course he thinks that. He wasn't on it. You know what I mean? But, we had a good laugh about it. You know what I mean? But, it was like, I've said this before. It was supposed to be a live record, and we ended up not doing it because of money. So it was cheaper to do it in the studio than it was to do it live.
Really?
And it just ended up that way. And, it was just a way for, it was an honor for me to do it and sing Paul's songs. And so, fans don't want to listen to it. They always have the original. You know what I mean? So, yeah.
Yeah, but he said that with a good vibe. He was like, I love Rob. I admire him as a vocalist. He did a great job on the album, but I don't understand why they did that. But
Yeah.
to me as a fan, it was a great idea because the production and the sound of that album is a million times better than the original. I mean, come on.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it was done like 30 fucking years later. So yeah. So, you know, and that being said, I mean, and it was, you know, I think if it was a live record, it would have been, that's the way it should have been done. But it wasn't. So now here we are.
Yeah, and,
You know.
and I remember back in 07 when you came down here to South America, you actually played the whole Bonded by Blood album in Chile.
Yep. Yeah, we did, man. It was fucking great. Yeah.
And
I
the
love
show-
those nights. I love doing that.
Yeah, Chilean crowds are crazy.
Yeah, I mean, it's just we're expanding more on the Valley on with this album.
Was it difficult to write songs in this more melodic direction with King?
No. I mean, we've always had some sort of melody, even dating back to the Smag Defilement. I mean, we had as far as musically we did. But yeah, I mean, we've been experimenting with this since Mark of the Blade, and you know, it's just something that we've always wanted to implement, but you know, doing this kind of stuff is a little bit more difficult. Just considering, you know, we haven't really put that much time into it previously. So but as far as like we just naturally work very well together. So yeah, I mean, it's a pretty it's pretty easy process because we would just work so well together.
Since Bring Me Home, the track from Mark of the Blade, right? And you guys got some haters on YouTube and social media complaining about this is not deathcore, this is not heavy enough. Are you expecting more of that in for this album for King, since it's much more melodic, not only compared to the Valley, but also a million times more melodic compared to the first two albums and some others?
Yeah, I mean, I expect that regardless if we kept writing stuff like the Somatic Defilement or, you know, all the early stuff. I mean, I expect that regardless of what we do. That's just part of it. And you know, people that's what music is. It's a very subjective thing. You know, you can love it or hate it, and you know, that's okay. But it is what it is. If people dislike it, then that's their right to be able to do so. And but as far as but you know, at the end of the day, we're writing music that we enjoy and that we like to write. So if people enjoy it, then you know, that's just the bonus for us. And if but you know, of course, there's not everybody's gonna like it. I mean, that's impossible to get everybody to like it. And you know, again, it doesn't matter to us if people dislike it, you know, because that's how life is.
Any news about the Down EP? I think you will release soon an EP of covers, correct?
Yeah, we haven't started working on it yet, but that's the idea.
So maybe it will be released next year?
I don't know. We haven't started working on it yet. So it depends, man. You know, it depends on everybody's schedules and everything like that. But that's the idea, is to do a cover EP. So.
Yes. Any news about the tour for Down?
No, not right now. I hate God. You know.
All right.
That's what we're doing, man.
Yeah. Last question.
I don't know any Down business right now. I really don't.
And what about Super Joint?
No, Super Joint's done, man.
Oh, really? For good? Why? What happened?
We don't want to do it anymore.
But
you know, it's just we we got to get back together, did a new record, and we toured for like 2-3 years, and that's it. You know, like they're focusing on the illegals, and I'm doing I Hate God. Pepper's doing COC. You know, so.
All right, all right. Right, but I was asking about after that when you were writing and recording a new album. You said 30 songs, right? Are those songs mixed and mastered?
No, they were just in demo format. A lot of those songs have been heard, and you know, I can go back through all my demos and stuff like that, but it's just different pieces and parts. It's probably not full songs. It's probably just bits and pieces of different pieces of music that me and Maxwell, because a lot of the songs were written with me and Tom in his basement, and we would give it to Bill, we bass on it, and then Matt was just like struggling to get work done. So there was a lot of pieces of music, but not a lot of songs that were vocals were on it. It was just
how many full songs recorded from that period?
Yeah, I couldn't tell you an exact number. I'd have to go back and look, but you know, there was quite a few songs musically that were completed without, you know, vocals on them, but were used in different ways.
Do you believe those songs will ever see the light of day in some format?
I'd have to talk with the guys and really sit back and look at all the music, because, you know, I'm sure Tom has taken some of those riffs and used them for Hell Yeah. You know, I mean, a lot of that music got sifted through with different bands.
And Knives Out too.
Yeah, Knives Out too. So a lot of that music filtered through all of our other projects. So we just wrote a shit ton of music, and it, you know, it really never amounted to anything because of, you know, just us not being able to get together and finish it. It was really hard, man. I'm probably going to get a lot of flack for being so open and honest about this, because, you know, I didn't tell the other guys I was doing this interview, but you know what? It is what it is. You know what I mean? I was frustrated because me and Tom were spending so much time in recording these songs, just to not have other members of the band take it seriously and always have an excuse. And it was frustrating. It was really frustrating. You know, I love Matt. He's my brother. And it was really unfortunate, you know, to what happened with him. But he was one of the main contributors of the band not being able to get past that hurdle, man. And it's I'm not blaming him. I love him, man. He's the most. I tried my hardest to get him out of his, you know, funk, for lack of a better term, but because he's amazing. Like, if he just would have believed in himself more, you know, I mean, it's unbelievable that he didn't do anything other than Nothing Face during all this stuff. It's like really sad, because everything he did was gold to me.
Oh yeah, I agree. So what's your best memory about Matt Holt?
My best memory about Matt Holt, you know, he always loved me like a brother, and he built me up so much and made me believe in myself. I'll never forget that when all the other guys in the band didn't think I could do it. You know what I mean? Because there was times where they wanted to kick me out because I was drinking and going crazy and fucking up songs on stage. You know, I'll never forget, like, we were doing Pantera, and I was too afraid to tell them I needed another bass drum pedal. You know what I mean? Because I was just like all timid and shy about it. You know, it's an expense, whatever. But I didn't realize, what if it breaks? So we're playing like this arena full of fans, and I broke my kick drum pedal and threw it into the crowd, and like walked off the stage when Vinny was right there saying, "You could have used my kit, man." I'm like, fuck. So I go back to the bus, and those guys are fucking pissed, man. Like, don't you ever do that again. You're going to Guitar Center, you're buying 3 more of them bastards.
All right.
No, but Matt, he, you know, we were friends since high school. You know what I mean? And we would always sit in the back of the bus smoking and hanging out. We had this little side project called the Blueberry Lounge, which unfortunately got burned up in a fire when he burned his house down.
Yeah.
And it was like rap and drum machine beats, and we both did vocals on it.
All right.
It was,
Back in 1995, talking about Metallica, back in 1995, were you okay with the musical direction of Load and Reload?
I wasn't, you know, it became kind of a monopoly at that time. James and Lars really took over the songwriting, and there wasn't a lot of room for the rest of us to get anything in. It was a very weird time for everyone. And so I would have definitely liked to see some of the songs go faster and have a little bit sharper teeth, you know.
Mm-hmm.
They eventually all went together, and they made sense that they came from the same time period of recording and writing and stuff. So it all makes sense to me now that I look back on it. But at that time, you know, I was really chomping at the bit to get kind of faster and get kind of crazier. That's when I was making demos with Andreas and Devin Townsend, and all that was 1994, 95, 96 was when I first started making the Irate demo and all that stuff in the Chop House, playing really scary, fast thrash metal music. So that was what was in my blood. But it came out okay. I think I was more bothered by the approach of the album cover and the photographs with makeup and all that stuff like that. I was really having a hard time with all that. As a fan and as a member of the band also, but mostly as a fan, I was looking at it like, this don't feel right. You know, so now that the time has passed, everything is fine, and I kind of look back at a couple of those pictures and think they're pretty cool. Like that one with, I got the Elvis hair with the big pompadour, and, you know, that kind of photograph, the black and white photograph. I like it now that the time has passed, but at the time I fucking hated it.
Yeah. Okay. I always wanted to ask you that, so I feel great now. Thank you.
There's a couple good songs like the, you know, Devil's Dance and what's the last one? The Lyric, Low Man's Lyric. I think it's a pretty good song, man. Pretty good song. There's some good songwriting there. It's just not quite as maybe ugly as I would have liked it to be.
Yeah, definitely. During the 90s, I always say to my friends, during the 90s, Jason had the balls that Metallica left a few years ago. You know, Jason kept the thrash metal feeling, the thrash metal craziness on the stage with Metallica. So that's what made Metallica great during the 90s, during the Load, Reload, and, you know, that era. So thank you very much for that, Jason.
Well, thank you. Yeah, that's cool. Thanks, man. I think that the live thing makes all the difference, and that's really how I always tried to make up that feeling, you know?
Exactly.
If the recording was a little bit light, I always tried to make it as scary as possible in a live thing.
Yeah. Yeah, especially because of your backing vocals, you know?
That's right. Exactly right. Yep.
I love that.
If you like this interview, please give me a thumbs up, leave a comment, and share the video with all your friends. Also, very important, please don't forget to subscribe and hit the bell.